This is the complete guide how to apply Canada visitor visa. Let's understand who needs a visitor visa. Most travelers needs a visitor visa to travel to Canada. You may also need one if you are transiting through Canadian airport on your way to your final destination. A visitor visa, also called a temporary visa, is an official document that is put in your passport. How to apply? You apply on www.canada.ca website. Click on Visit Canada. After that, you come to this page, Visit Canada, where you will have Apply for a Visitor Visa. You click on this, you will have the option Visitor Visa, Temporary Residence Visa. Every country has a different processing time. There is a separate video on my channel about the processing time of the current scenario according to your country. The fees for this visa is 100 Canadian dollar. You go down, you click How to Apply. You click on this, go down. As a visitor, so for example, if you are coming for, what's your purpose of coming? So to visit as a tourist, to visit for business, to visit for your spouse or who sponsored your permanent residence, for a family visit, or none of these. So just now we are doing the visitor visa. We'll click to visit as a tourist, continue, go down, and it will ask you all the documents which we will discuss further in the video. Apply through the IRCC portal. This is an online portal. You click on this and then apply online for a visitor visa. It will give you follow these steps to apply online using this portal, get an invite code, create an account and sign in, complete the online form and upload your documents, which we will discuss in the video further, what documents you need and what are the requirements. Pay with your credit card. Once you've done that, you will get the link on your email once you sign up, and then you will click that email and you will start your application. How long you can stay? Most visitors can stay for up to 6 months in Canada. At the port of entry, the border services officer may allow you to stay for less or more than 6 months. If so, they'll put the date you need to leave by in your passport. They might also give you a document called a visitor record, which will show the date you need to leave by. We will discuss what is visitor record and what is the difference between the visitor visa. As per the IRCC Canada website, what is the difference between visitor visa and visitor record? A visitor visa, also known as temporary residence visa, is an official document citizens from visa requirement countries need to get to travel to or enter in the Canada for up to 6 months. But a visitor record is a document that border services officer may use to extend or restrict your stay in Canada. If you want to stay in Canada for more than 6 months, you have to tell the border services officer. So there is a difference between visitor visa and visitor record. Make sure you need a visitor visa before you apply. You may need a visitor or an electronic travel authorization, which is also known as ETA. The entry document, which you depend the type of travel document you plan to travel with, the country that issued your travel document, your nationality, how you will travel to Canada for this trip. The fees is starting from 100 Canadian dollar. Who can get a visa? You must have a valid travel document like a passport. You be in a good health. You have no criminal or immigration related convictions. Convince an immigration officer that you will leave Canada at the end of your visit. You have enough money for your stay. The amount of money you will need depend on how long you will stay and if you will stay in a hotel or with friends or relatives. You may also need a medical exam and letter of invitation for someone who lives in Canada. Some people are not allowed to enter Canada. The people who are not allowed, which means they are not allowed to enter the country, which can be depending on their activity like criminal activity, if they have done anything in the past, human rights violations, organized crimes. You can also be admissible for security, health or financial reasons. After you apply your fingerprints and photo biometrics, book your collection appointment as soon as you can to avoid processing delays. So at the end of the application, you will get the link where you will click on that and it will take you to the page where you will book your biometric. Processing time for your visitor visa application, it's incomplete. Your application may be refused. We may also ask you to go for an interview with official in your country, send more information. They can also ask you for medical exam. They can also ask you for medical police certificate. It depends which case is applicable on you, why your application is delayed. So the current visa processing time varies from country to country. Documents you need, in some situation you need like specific documents, but situation where you may need extra document on arrival, that's depend if either of the following situation applies to you or someone you'll travel with. Have document indicated in hand. Let's understand about the medical exam. Many people are confused that whether they need a medical exam or not. So if we go on this website on canada.ca, we go down, who needs a medical exam? If you plan to stay for 6 months or less, you generally don't need a medical exam unless you plan to work in certain jobs in which public health must be protected. Examples of such jobs are working in a healthcare, for example, clinical patient, medical students, medical electives, workers in primary or secondary schools, domestics, day nursery employees. All these people need to have a medical exam. Agriculture workers who have visited or lived in one of these countries for 6 months or more in a row in the year before they came to Canada. All these people need the medical exam. If you plan to stay more than 6 months, you need a medical exam if at least one of these applies to you. So which one are these? Number one, you have lived in or traveled in one or more of these territories. For example, for 6 months, you will come to Canada to work. You are applying for parent or grandparent super visa. I'll put the links of these details in the description so you can click on it and you will get the whole list of it. Another important document is letter of invitation. So if we click on this letter of invitation for visitor to Canada, this will give you all the information for the person writing the letter of invitation. It clearly says you should include this information about the person you are inviting. Complete name, date of birth, address, relationship, the purpose of the trip, how long they will stay in Canada, where the person will stay, and how he will pay for the things when the person plans to leave Canada. All these details must be mentioned by the person you are inviting. So the person who are in the Canada, when that sponsor writing a letter, they must include this. You should include this information about yourself. So the person who is inviting must mention their name, date of birth, address, job title, whether you are a Canadian citizen or a permanent resident. A photocopy of a document providing your status in Canada, such as a Canadian birth certificate, Canadian citizen card, a copy of PR card, a secure certificate of Indian status or Canadian of Indian status. All these details are needed for that person. You have a child under the age of 18. In Canada, a child under the age of 18 is considered a minor. You may need to show a letter that authorizes the minor child to travel to Canada and other documents such as adoption papers or a custody decree, depending on if the minor child travels alone or not. You were invited to come to Canada if you got a person letter or a company invitation. Bring that letter with you. A border forces services may ask for it. Once you arrive in Canada, a valid visa or a travel document don't guarantee that you can enter Canada. Canadian government says that we need to determine if you meet all the entry requirements and then they will decide whether you are allowed or not. When you arrive, they will check your identity to make sure that you are the same person who was approved to travel to Canada. If you entered Canada at one of 4 major Canadian airports, your fingerprints will be checked automatically at a primary inspection kiosk. The system will check your identity against the information collected when your application was submitted. If you enter Canada at a land port of entry, your fingerprints may be checked if you refer to a secondary inspection, where border services officer will use your fingerprint verification device to check your fingerprints. When you enter Canada, you need to pass through identity check, health assessment and meet the entry requirement. The border services officer may stamp your passport or let you know how long you can stay in Canada. They'll normally allow you to stay for up to 6 months. You won't be allowed to Canada if you give false or incomplete information. The officer must be convinced that you are eligible for entry into Canada. You will leave Canada at the end of your approved length of stay.